Chapter 11 Glass Cannon Part 1 While formulating a new plan to take down the glass cannon, knowing that a planet-glassing superweapon went against all conventions, Grand Admiral Jenkins conspired that he would break some conventions as well. And after formulating a new plan with other high-ranking officers, he settled on a plan of false surrender. Then, while his dreadnought would be captured and the crew taken prisoner aboard the glass cannon, then a few agents with clearance to the glass cannon systems would free the 50,000 Marines taken prisoner for the internal invasion of the glass cannon and use it as a weapon to destroy as many of the Valkyrie forces as possible before setting in a self-destruct. And when the plan had been formulated, Natalia had already formulated her own plan involving Titania as bait without telling her. And when Natalia had arrived in Prince Darius's fleet, she radioed the USS Glass Cannon stating, "I have prisoner Titania captured, requesting permission to land aboard the glass cannon." The controller of the control deck then answered, "All right, but first I'm going to need proof of the captured prisoner before you are allowed to leave your spacecraft and submit to a full ship scan." Natalia then set course for the designated docking station as a few dozen drones scanned her ship and was all cleared. Natalia then landed her ship in the designated hangar aboard the glass cannon and waited for the Valkyries to search her ship so that she could steal their belongings and use her Tanuki magic to get a straight shot at Prince Darius and Emilio. So, when the inspectors boarded her ship, she drew a silenced blaster pistol, shooting the Valkyrie soldiers unconscious before stealing their uniforms. Natalia then used her Tanuki magic to trick the commander into believing she, Agron, Sylvia, Tatsu, and Patches were all Valkyries. The Valkyrie commander then ordered that she bring Titania to the brig for containment until called upon by Prince Darius for his schemes. And while making her way towards the brig, Agron asked Natalia, while no one was looking, "Got a plan to deal with the Valkyries on this ship?" To which Natalia responded, "I always do." Meanwhile, Prince Darius was conversing with General Emilio and said, "So you've heard the news that Crown Princess Titania has been captured and is being detained in the brig. Why not bring her here aboard the bridge that she may know her new master?" Emilio then answered, "Don't you find it suspicious that she was able to escape Area 51 when Area 51's defenses are virtually impenetrable? Don't you suspect that she either had help or is far more powerful than she appears? Have you not considered the possibility that she may have gained some affection towards our American adversaries and might try to use the glass cannon against us and not help you in succeeding Azrael's throne?" I will admit I did not think that far. I assumed because Titania would have no other options, she would be forced to go along with my plans. And if she doesn't? Learning from you, that would be Plan B. Save the Valkyries and take over the Void Kingdom by force. I see you're learning from me. Yes. However, when this war is over, I hope to create a better kingdom for the Valkyries, one my father Odin refuses to see because he sees me as weak. So I intend to prove him wrong, and that I will be a better king to the Valkyries than he ever was, proving that there is more to being a great king than war and glory. Because what glory is there when we are all dead? I see you're different from the other Valkyries, for when I conquered your people under King Azrael's leadership, I knew how your people idolize glory and have the dream of dying in battle, that their names will be remembered. So I fulfill their desire to die in battle. How come you aren't like them? It's because I know how short-sighted the pursuit of vainglory is, and perhaps for it, I am wiser than the gods who cannot see past their next drunken outburst. For as much as the Valkyries have idolized war and glory, there will come a time when there will be no more wars or glory to be gained, when everything has been conquered. And what then will it matter to have gained the whole world, but lose everything all because your identity was completely based upon war and conquest? Then we see eye to eye. And knowing your royal family, it was only Brunhilde and yourself that seemed to oppose your people's failed system and false sense of glory and honor. But perhaps under your leadership, your people may be spared from the ignorance of their fathers passed on to them, and create a better future not built on vainglory and conquest, and for once in 1,000 generations, prosper. And that is what I strive for. My brother Loki and Thor never thought to see beyond drunkenness and tyranny, and even my father Odin sought to discard me for my deformities, and not conform to the violent ways of the Valkyries, and even gave me the name Darius, as not to associate me with his lineage. And if it were not for my mother Brunhilda, who saved me from my father's wrath, I would not have lived to tell the tale. Meanwhile, while no one was looking, Natalia freed Titania from the brig and rejoined Agron, Sylvia, and Tatsu in the mess hall after downloading a schematic of the glass cannon's superweapon, as well as tapped into the glass cannon's battle system. Natalia then said to her companions, "I've got good news and bad news. Good news is that the glass cannon's FTL drives are damaged beyond repair, and if we can free the captured Marines aboard this ship, we have a fighting chance at taking the bridge and using the glass cannon against the Valkyries' entire fleets." Agron then asked, "And the bad news?" "The bad news is that the planet-glassing superweapon is still fully operational, and the Valkyries are making progress in replacing the destroyed FTL drive with a new one." "So what's the plan?" "The plan is we free those Marines and take the bridge by force, taking out both General Emilio and Prince Darius at the same time. Meanwhile, another battalion will permanently disable the glass cannon's superweapon, and after sufficiently damage and has been done to the Valkyries' fleets, we force one of the fusion reactors to go supercritical and get the hell out of here before it explodes. Let's see if we can save some lives." As Natalia and her companions were ready to free the Marines and take over the bridge, Grand Admiral Jenkins' fleet arrived for a false surrender with enough nuclear warheads to destroy 7 glass cannons. Did you know this? Darius's irony. Although it seems Darius has come off as a very sexist and full of himself, these are actually more so products of his Valkyrie culture than his actual philosophical reasoning. For a Valkyrie to ponder anything beyond glory and drunkenness is almost taboo in Valkyrie culture, making him quite literally despised by his family for opposing their ideals of war and conquest. There's also Darius's ponderings of theoretical end to all wars, with nothing left to conquest, criticizing his own culture, seeing it as fallen and needing of changing, and is humble enough to realize he does not have all the answers. Hence, Darius is not a villain but a tragedy of his own upbringing. An inspiration from A New Hope. When Natalia steals the Valkyrie uniforms and disguises everyone as Valkyries, was inspired by the scene in Star Wars A New Hope with the scene where Han Solo steals the Stormtrooper uniforms and disguises his crew in order to infiltrate the Death Star.